August 18th, 1572. Notre-Dame Cathedral in Paris witnesses an extraordinary wedding. Marguerite de Valois, Catholic princess and sister of King Charles IX, marries Henry of Navarre, Protestant prince and leader of the Huguenot faction. This union is supposed to heal France's religious wounds. 10 years of civil war between Catholics and Protestants. Tens of thousands dead, cities burned, families torn apart. Queen Mother Catherine de Medici orchestrated this marriage alliance to cement peace. Thousands of Huguenot nobles traveled to Paris for the celebration, the most important Protestant gathering in French history. They arrive in fine clothes, bringing gifts, eager to witness their leader marry into the royal family. They trust this is reconciliation. They believe the wars are ending. In 6 days, most of them will be dead, slaughtered in their beds, thrown from windows, dragged from homes, and butchered in the streets. The wedding meant to unite France will trigger the bloodiest massacre in European religious history. France in 1572 is a powder keg. The Protestant Reformation reached France decades earlier, creating the Huguenot movement, French Calvinists who reject Catholic authority and papal supremacy. By 1572, approximately 2 million Huguenots live among 18 million Catholics. They're a minority but a powerful one, controlling important cities and backed by wealthy nobles. The wars of religion have raged intermittently since 1562, 8 separate conflicts punctuated by fragile truces. The Peace of Saint-Germain-en-Laye in 1570 ended the Third War, granting Huguenots limited religious freedom and control of 4 fortified cities as security. Admiral Gaspard de Coligny, the Huguenots' brilliant military leader, is readmitted to King Charles IX's council. The young king genuinely likes Coligny, seeks his advice, considers him wise. That terrifies Catherine de Medici. Her influence over her son is slipping to a Protestant admiral. Catherine had not obtained Pope Gregory XIII's permission to celebrate this irregular marriage between Catholic and Protestant. Catholic authorities are horrified. The ultra-Catholic Guise family, who've dominated French politics for decades, see the wedding as betrayal. They watch Protestant nobles flood into Paris, guests in a city where Protestant worship is technically forbidden. The atmosphere grows toxic. On August 22nd, 4 days after the wedding, Admiral Coligny walks from the Louvre toward his residence. A musket fires from an upstairs window. The bullet strikes Coligny's arm and hand, seriously wounding him but not killing. The assassin, likely Charles de Louviers working for the Guise family, escapes. Coligny is carried to his home. Protestant leaders rush to his bedside, furious. This is attempted murder of their highest-ranking noble. Someone will pay. King Charles visits the wounded admiral, promising full investigation and justice. Catherine de Medici also visits, expressing shock and concern. Behind the scenes, she panics. If investigators discover Guy's involvement, and by extension her own complicity, civil war will resume. Worse, if the young king learns his mother plotted against his trusted advisor, she'll lose all influence. Huguenot leaders demand action, threatening to leave Paris or seek revenge themselves. The situation is explosive. Any wrong move triggers disaster. On the night of August 23rd, Catherine makes her decision. If investigators find the truth, she's ruined. If Huguenots revolt, France burns. There's only one solution: eliminate the Huguenot leadership before they can act. Kill them all, immediately. Catherine convenes a secret meeting at the Tuileries Palace. Present are King Charles, his brother the Duke of Anjou, and key nobles including representatives of the Guise family. They debate through the night. Catherine argues that Huguenots are plotting rebellion. that Coligny's assassination attempt has united Protestants against the crown, that immediate action is required to save the monarchy. The initial plan is limited. Execute perhaps 20 top Huguenot leaders to decapitate the movement. Charles resists. These men are his guests. They came for his sister's wedding under royal protection. Murdering guests violates every principle of honor. But Catherine and Anjou pressure him relentlessly. Finally, around midnight, Charles breaks. "Kill them all," he reportedly shouts. "Kill them all so that not one remains to reproach me." The order is given, lists are prepared, soldiers are briefed. Shortly before dawn on August 24th, St. Bartholomew's feast day, the massacre begins. Shortly before dawn on August 24th, the bell of Saint-Germain-l'Auxerrois began to toll, and the massacre began. Royal guards and Catholic militia flood through Paris streets toward Huguenot residences. Coligny is among the first victims. Guards burst into his bedroom, stab him repeatedly, and throw his body from the window. Henry de Guise personally supervises, ensuring the admiral who dared advise the king is dead. At the Louvre Palace, where many Huguenot nobles are housed, soldiers go room to room. They drag Protestants from beds, run them through with swords, toss bodies into courtyards. Only Henry of Navarre and Henry I de Bourbon, Prince of Condé, are spared, both too important to kill without catastrophic political consequences. Everyone else dies. Screams echo through the palace corridors. What begins as targeted assassination of leaders spirals into general slaughter. Catholic Parisians, hearing the tocsin bells and seeing soldiers killing Protestants, join the violence with horrifying enthusiasm. Neighbors attack neighbors. Shopkeepers murder customers they've served for years. Mobs drag Huguenot families from homes, kill men, women, children indiscriminately. Bodies are mutilated, stripped naked, thrown into the Seine. The river runs red. Protestant homes are looted. Shops are ransacked. The violence has its own momentum now, beyond royal control. King Charles issues an order on August 25th to stop the killing, claiming it was a preemptive strike against Huguenot conspiracy. Nobody listens. The massacres continue in Paris for 3 more days. Then they spread to the provinces: Rouen, Lyon, Bourges, Orléans, Bordeaux. Catholic populations in these cities, hearing what happened in Paris, begin their own purges. The death toll is staggering but uncertain. Contemporary estimates range wildly. Estimates of the number that perished in the disturbances, which lasted to the beginning of October, have varied from 2,000 by a Roman Catholic apologist to 70,000 by the contemporary Huguenot Maximilien de Bethune, Duc de Sully. Modern historians estimate 3,000 deaths in Paris alone, perhaps 5,000 to 10,000 across France. The massacre destroys France's Protestant leadership class. Nobles, merchants, artisans, the educated, wealthy Huguenots who might have negotiated peace, are dead. Those who survive flee to Protestant-controlled cities or convert to Catholicism under duress. Henry of Navarre himself converts at sword point, though he'll later return to Protestantism. The Huguenot movement is decapitated but not destroyed. It radicalizes. Before St. Bartholomew's Day, Huguenots followed John Calvin's teaching of obedience to earthly rulers. After they embrace theories of resistance and tyrannicide, if kings murder guests, kings can be killed. Pope Gregory XIII celebrates when news reaches Rome. He orders a Te Deum sung in thanksgiving, commissions a commemorative medal, and instructs artist Giorgio Vasari to paint frescoes depicting the massacre in the Sala Regia at the Vatican. The paintings remain there today, permanent celebration of mass murder. The Pope believes France has been saved from Protestant heresy. Catholic rulers across Europe send congratulations. Only later, when reports of the massacre's brutality emerge, does Gregory XIII reportedly express regret. But the damage is done. St. Bartholomew's Day becomes Protestantism's defining martyrdom, proof that Catholic authorities will stop at nothing to destroy the Reformed faith. The massacre appears in Protestant propaganda for centuries, fueling anti-Catholic sentiment across Europe and America. The massacre fails completely in its political objectives. Catherine hoped eliminating Huguenot leaders would end Protestant resistance. Instead, it guarantees 26 more years of religious war. The Fourth War of Religion begins almost immediately. Huguenot cities like La Rochelle resist royal sieges for years. The conflict becomes international. Protestant England and the Dutch Republic support French Huguenots, while Catholic Spain backs the ultra-Catholic League. Not until 1598 does peace finally arrive with the Edict of Nantes, granting Huguenots freedom of worship. And who signs that edict? King Henry IV, the same Henry of Navarre who survived the massacre by converting, who watched his friends and companions slaughtered, who spent decades fighting the wars St. Bartholomew's Day triggered. The wedding guest became king. The survivor enacted the tolerance the massacre tried to destroy. St. Bartholomew's Day massacre haunts European memory as a cautionary tale about religious fanaticism and state-sponsored terror. August 24th, 1572, the day celebration turned into purge, wedding guests were slaughtered for their faith, and France drowned in blood of its own citizens. 3,000 dead in Paris, perhaps 10,000 across France, all because a queen feared losing influence. A young king was manipulated into authorizing murder, and Catholic zealots saw opportunity to eradicate heresy. The wedding meant to unite France, instead revealed how deeply it was fractured. The peace meant to end religious war guaranteed its continuation. The massacre meant to destroy Protestantism made martyrs who inspired generations. That's the legacy of St. Bartholomew's Day. Faith ignited outrage, celebration became slaughter, and France learned that you cannot kill ideas with swords. You only make them stronger.